Interesting. You spoke about shamanism. Tell me more about it.
Something that I've started to explore also in the last few years. I love it very much because it's very nature based.
Mm.
So maybe for the people that have never heard about this is which I'm in a bubble now where I think everybody knows what shamanism is, but the word shaman comes from Siberia, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
And so originally, shamanism was practiced in Siberia, and they were the elders of the tribe, the medicine men and women who had special abilities to take care of the tribes. Um, I don't know all the detail, but I can imagine that they also were able to, read the stars and predict.
Psychic.
Yeah,
Wow.
psychic predict the rainfall and things like that. So they were the rest of the tribe would grant them with or believe they had special abilities. Um, the Siberian, as humankind was spreading across the globe,
Mm-hmm.
and they from Siberia they crossed the land to North America, or what is now North America, South America. Um, so this way of living also started being implemented there with the, I guess many of us know the stereotypical Indians with their feathers and
The the priests,
yeah,
like monks and priests.
yeah,
So yeah.
so, which we now, I mean, you're not allowed to say Indians anymore. Well,
Yeah. Yeah.
there's two types of Indians, of course, in that way, but like Native Americans.
Yeah.
Um, and shamanism, so it's now, you can find shamans across the world now because it has spread since several 100,000 years. But um, what it means to me is it's kind of a way of living that is close to nature, and you live according to the ancient traditions that once populated the earth and that were very closely related to nature and the natural cycles. Um, Perhaps even believing that there is spirits in everything, not just one god, but
Mm-hmm.
a god of the water, a god of the air, a god of the land, or like every animal would be a god in itself.
Mm-hmm.
Um, yeah, and so I started exploring this as also a way of connecting more to my nature and to nature.
Wow.
Yeah,
Well, that like goes back to our first topic that we started about,
yeah,
like agriculture,
yeah,
connecting with nature, like soil,
yeah,
and you found shamanism the way to be.
yeah.
Well, like I'm going to reinvestigate and maybe in future have more detailed talks about it. It kind of makes me a bit more curious. And I'm just checking the time, and I know that I need to let you go for a cacao ceremony. So, my final question, actually the second final, is about like you also facilitate and host these cacao ceremonies, and today after this you're going to like hosting here in Zeist. So tell me, what is it? I have never been in such a ceremony.
Yeah. Well, it's a ceremony that has been loosely taken. Well, taken is not the right word, but because it sounds very colonial. But it's based upon the Mesoamerican cultures.
Mm-hmm.
So in a cacao ceremony, what you do is you drink pure cacao,
Mm-hmm.
which is blended with a number of spices and maybe some sugar type
Mm-hmm.
substance to make it more easily drinkable.
Mm-hmm.
And then what I do is I play music,
Mm-hmm.
and people lie down and they have a journey, and it's not something psychedelical, so there's no hallucinations or anything. But why I've started using cacao is what they say in shamanism is that it's a medicine that connects you more deeply to your heart.
Mm.
And cacao has been used in a ceremonial way for many, many years by the tribes that lived in what is now Mexico and Guatemala, as a way to connect to the gods, in a way also to connect to your inner God. And unfortunately, the tradition hasn't been handed down from generation to generation. So that's why I'm saying it's loosely based on what they used to do over there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you drink cacao and you experience the benefits of the cacao
Mm.
to connect more deeply, as in, like, it's all about connection.
Like chocolate is so popular, so like, and like it's, I think, one of the most popular products in the world.
Yeah,
Does that help me if I just have a chocolate bar? Just like a
it
dumb
does.
question.
It does help. No, it's
Really?
not. It's definitely a valid question. I believe chocolate is loved so deeply because it contains a molecule that's called anandamine, which is linked to endorphin.
Okay.
And in some of the Indian languages, ananda means bliss.
Yeah.
So they also call it the bliss hormone. And it makes you happy. So that's why so many people love chocolate.
Okay. So, like, what's special in a cacao ceremony if I can just have a chocolate?
And what's so special is that the chocolate that we eat is processed.
Mm.
It's not only processed in the bar with the sugar and all the additives, but also the way this cacao is treated, and the
Mm.
way it's fermented, the way it is roasted, the way it's processed in the factories is not sacred at all. It's
Mm.
a cacao bar that you buy in the regular shop. It's like the same thing as food they make at McDonald's,
Mm.
where, I know, if you didn't know this, the French fries at McDonald's is not just potatoes, it has 19 different ingredients.
Oh,
So
I didn't know that.
just so you know the that it's not natural. And the cacao that I use is grown and harvested, fermented, and processed in like a sacred way,
Mm.
by hand, with the good intentions. There is no exploitation of the tree, no exploitation of the farmer, of their workers. So the the energy that goes into it is much
Right.
more pure. Same way as if you compare it to French fries at McDonald's, the difference to when you go to a shop where they hand make their potatoes and they
Mm.
fry it in good quality oils, etc.
Like it reminds me of like a saying that we have in India is that and still in India, like home cook is much more popular than what you see here in the West, and it's always recommended in our culture. And I did not know that it had anything to do with spirituality or sacredness. That always, for example, you need to be as pure as possible. So you need to have good intentions, wash your hands and feet, like with a very happy and a very good intention for the family or whomever you're cooking for. If you cook in that state of mind, then you get the nutrition in that food is most beneficial to everybody. Like that's something that is taught in the Indian oral traditions.
Wow.
and it's still very popular to home cook, have, as raw as possible, or like, cook together as a family, or have your laughs and like those intimate discussions in your kitchen. Like one like funny thing, like at my grandfather's place growing up, uh, our kitchen, like my grandfather's kitchen, was the biggest room in his house,
Wow.
bigger than the living room. Because while my grandmother would be cooking on another side, he would help to, grind the spices. And me and my brother and the rest of the family as kids, this in between, we would play, we would help cutting vegetables, or just have some discussions. And I think I really cherish those memories, and what you're saying me, that in a way that was very sacred.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
I get goosebumps from your story. Yeah, it is so
Yeah.
sacred.
Yeah. And that's what, like, yeah, the food might have a specific nutrient, macronutrients and all these
Yeah.
things in the world, and we can be very methodical about food in that sense. But if the whole human touch, intentions, doing better for the world can affect so much.
Yeah.
So that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
Oh, that's so
Definitely.
beautiful. Beautiful. So I will definitely want to attend your cacao ceremony. So let me like arrange some friends. Like, you do it in a group, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So let's do that sometime, and
Great.
it will be super fun.
Yeah.
So thank you so much on that awareness. I have never thought about it. I'll definitely join a
Oh, you're
cacao
so
ceremony.
welcome.
Yeah. So I am going to wrap up this talk, but I'm not going to let you go with this final round,
Mm-hmm.
which is, I call it the real question round. I am going to uh, not fire you, like you don't really need to like feel like you're compelled to answer, but the real question round is like, there are a set of questions that I ask to all my guests as a roundup on various topics, and you have to just give your take on it, one liner, just one line.
Yeah.
And it's not like you have to do it right now. You can think a bit as well, but I'm not going to counter questions, and there are no judgments around it.
Yeah.
Yeah? Ready?
Let's get
Yes.
going.
So I'm going to select some questions, like some one-liners, and here is the first one. What's better, casual sex or committed sex?
Committed sex.
Slavery is over.
No.
Caregiving is an underpaid industry.
Yes.
Yeah.
True.
Um, White men rule. What do you think?
Unfortunately, yes.
Mm. Mm, let's see. Porn is healthy?
No.
No, not
No.
at all.
Not at all.
Um, Emotions are weakness.
No.
No? Wow, that's empowering. Okay, last one. Parents fuck up their kids no matter what.
Yes.
Yeah. So if you're a parent, don't worry. You're trying very hard, but anyways, it's not going to work out. That's like a common answer I'm getting, by the way, from all my guests.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
also, it just kind of rounds up to what you were mentioning about shadow work. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. But on that note, thank you so much, Josta. I enjoyed our conversation a lot. We picked on so many different topics, and I thought that it was really useful uh, in terms of awareness, but also to have this real talk with you. So
Yeah. Yeah, I fully agree. Time flew,
Yeah.
and I loved the deep dive and the whole how naturally it all was. Thank you.
Cool. And let me give you a hug on a final note.